Hello, everybody. This is Paul Nison with Torah Life Ministries. Good morning. We are reading the scriptures live as we do every day, and we're up to the 10th chapter of the book of Zechariah. We are going to open up with the Shema found in Deuteronomy 6:4-9, as we always do. Shema Yisrael, Yahweh Eloheinu, Yahweh Echad, Baruch Shem Kevo, Mahutov, Leolam Vaed. Hear, O Israel, Yahweh is Elohim, Yahweh is one. Blessed is the name of his glorious kingdom for all eternity. And you shall love Yahweh your Elohim with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your might. And have these words which I command you this day be upon your heart. And you shall teach them diligently to your children, and speak of them when you sit in your house, when you walk by the way, when you retire, and when you arise. And you shall bind them for a sign upon your hand, and let them be frontlets between your eyes. And you shall write them on the doorposts of your house and upon your gates. Amen. Amen. So the 10th chapter, we're looking at the restoration of the people of Israel, or the people of Yahweh, the people that are believing in Yahweh, and that's where we are right now. So starting off here in verse 1, it says, "Ask rain from Yahweh in this time of the latter rain. Yahweh shall make thunderbolts, and he gives them showers of rain, grass to each man in the field." Now remember, we're looking at the remnant and the restoration, and once the temple is built, and what's happening. Verse 2 says, "For the family idols speak in iniquity, and dividing ones have seen a lie, and have told false dreams. They comfort in vain. On account of this, they wandered like a flock. They were troubled because there was no shepherd." And the note here says in the Hebraic root scriptures, this is speaking of the household of deities called Teraphim that were used in divination and strictly forbidden according to the Torah, as we see in Deuteronomy 8:9-14 and Hosea 3:4 and 5. And the note here in the New Living Testament says, "We often create idols of money, power, fame, or success, and then we expect them to give us happiness and security. But these idols can't supply what we need any more than a stone image can make it rain. How foolish is it to trust in idols instead of trusting in Yahweh's promises for your future." Amen. Verse 3 says, "My anger is kindled against the shepherds, and I will punish the he-goats. For Yahweh of hosts has visited his flock, the house of Judah, and made them as a splendid horse in battle." Verse 4 reads, "From him came the cornerstone, from him the nail, from him came the battle bow, and from him every ruler together." And the note here says, "From him," speaking of Judah, out of which the Messiah would come. And the note here says, in the New Living Testament says, Zechariah's prophecy more than 500 years before Yeshua's return called Yeshua the cornerstone, and the bow for battle, and the ruler who was a man of action. The Messiah would be strong, stable, and victorious, and trustworthy in all ways, the answer to Israel's problems. Only in Messiah will the promise to Yahweh's people be fulfilled. Amen. And that was verse 4. Verse 5, "And they shall be like mighty ones who trample in the mind of the streets, who trample the mud of the streets in the battle, and they shall fight because Yahweh is with them, and they shall make their riders of horses ashamed." So they shall make the riders of horses ashamed. Verse 6, "And I will make stronger the house of Judah, and I will save the house of Joseph, and I will return to save them. For I have pity on them, and they shall be as though I had not cast them off. For I am Yahweh their Elohim, and I will answer them." And the note here for verse 6 reads, Judah refers to the southern kingdom, and Israel refers to the northern kingdom. One day Yahweh will reunite his people. This verse tells about Yahweh's reunited the Jewish people. This And this note says the Jewish people, but it's reunited Israel. That's what it is. This was a startling idea. The people of the northern kingdom of Israel was so completely absorbed into the other cultures after captivity in 722 BC that regathering can only be accomplished by Yahweh. Amazing, amazing. And then there's a note from verses 6 to verse 12, and it says, Yahweh promises to strengthen his people when we stay closely connected to him. His spirit will enable us to do his will. Despite the obstacles, when we stray away from Yahweh, he will be cut off from our power source. All right, so now we're reading here. Well, verse 7. And Ephraim shall be like a mighty one, and their heart shall be glad as wine, and their sons shall see and be glad. Their heart shall rejoice in Yahweh. And verse 8, I will whistle for them and gather them, for I have redeemed them, and they shall be many as they were many. Verse 9, I will sow them among the people, and they shall remember me in far countries, and they shall live with their sons and return. And the idiom here from the George Lavza explaining the Hebrew idiom here for verse 9 says, I will sow among the people means I will scatter them among the nations. I will scatter them among the nations. And then verse 11 says, and he shall pass through the sea of the distress and strike the waves in the sea, and the depths of the Nile shall dry up, and the pride of Assyria shall be brought down, and the scepter of Egypt shall go away. And the idiom here for that is, in verse 11 says, passing through the sea with affliction means going through life with difficulties. That's what it means. And a note here for verse 10 and 11 in the Hebraic and New Living Testament says, number 1 says, the picture returned from Egypt and Assyria was a symbolic way of saying that the people would be returned from all the countries where they had been dispersed. Egypt and Assyria evoked memories of slavery and separation. And in verse 11, the sea of distress refers to the Red Sea through which the Israelites were miraculously delivered from Egypt. As the Israelites returned once again from Egypt and other lands, they would be protected by Yahweh's miraculous power. Amen. And then finally, verse 12, and I will make them strong in Yahweh, and they shall walk in his name, says Yahweh. They shall walk in his name. And the note here for verse 12 says, during the millennial kingdom, all Israel will know and walk only in the name of Yahweh and no other name of false deities. And we see that in Isaiah 42:8. Amen. Amen. And then we have we have a Hebrew idiom for verse 12 says, they shall walk up and down in his name. This means they shall be loyal to Yahweh's religion, it says, or his way, his Torah. They shall walk in his name. Amen. So that is a short chapter this morning. That is chapter 10 of the book of Zechariah. And please remember to read your Psalms and Proverbs today and get that in and not let up. And praise Yah that we get to have the freedom to read this every single day here. Please, if you're not already subscribed to my Patreon page, the link is below the video, and to my website, Torah Life Ministries. Prayerfully, YouTube will keep this website open, but I hear they're not going too long. Keep ministry sites open and anyone promoting scriptures. So please, I can keep in touch with you that way. The Patreon page, also Torah Life Ministries. Just sign up for those pages and make sure I have your contact information there. So let's close off this morning with the Aaronic benediction found in Numbers 6:24-26. Yurifkika, Yahweh, Vivishmarikika, Yo'er Yahweh, Panana, Alaka, Vikunika, Yosi Yahweh, Panana, Alaka, Yasemaka, Shalom. Yahweh bless you and keep you. Yahweh make his face shine upon you and be gracious to you. Yahweh lift up his countenance upon you and give you peace. Amen. Amen. All right, everybody, have a blessed day today. Yahweh be with you. And Share this with others, and shalom, shalom.